Hello everybody, today I have another video for you all. Hooray. And this is kind of an exciting and kind of sad video for me, but this will be the last video that I use on this set. I do have other videos that I've filmed previously and will be uploading after this one at some point, but this is the last video being filmed at this desk. After this, everything will be packed up and brought to my new setup, which I will be showing off in a future video. If you remember, a while ago, I explained that there was going to be a reboot happening on the channel. Well, today is the day. It is now happening. The reboot is starting to happen. And my next few videos will be talking about the whole reboot and stuff and how it's all going to go down. But what better way to celebrate the leaving of this setup by returning to the very first character I ever showed off on this setup. Over 2 years ago, I made a video talking about the character I made named Stumper, right here. And his whole trope was that he was a tree, basically. And in that video, it debuted the first time I ever used this setup to film a video. And it also debuted the first time I had ever appeared on camera. And I have made appearances on camera since then, but I haven't appeared recently. But that will change with the whole reboot. And this setup has evolved over the years with the base plates on the walls changing over time, and also the kind of decorations I add to the corners changing over time as well. When I first started, I had like this whole city setup, which looked cool, but when you're making a thumbnail or trying to show a video or review something, it does kind of mess up, just make it really messy and hard to focus on what you're doing. And so I feel like it would be a good idea to just return to a character I had made on that original set and just do a much nicer job at showing it off. The character in front of us is Stumper. He is, as you can see, a tree. And in the original video, I actually never gave like a proper story on who he was or why he exists or what he does. I literally just throughout the video I just said he was a tree. And I will link the video in the description, but I literally don't do anything else besides just call him a tree. And as you can see, he's a pretty unique design. He's based off of and kind of retooled from the Lego Whomping Willow from 2018, kind of like when Harry Potter was first rebooted. And I basically just took the Whomping Willow tree and just turned it into this character, like with the whole like spinning. The set actually came with 2 of these stickers. I only used one of them in this build. So if I wanted to, I could either build a second one of this guy or extend him or make him bigger or something. The base plate that he's on right here can be detached. And this is the figure, and then this was kind of just an accessory. As you can see in the bottom, there's kind of like this hollow gap underneath where he sits. And in the video, I never really explained what this was. I just said that there's just a hole underneath him. But in the story, my Mecha Guardian story, I'd like to think that like valuable relics are stored underneath him. I've talked about my Mecha Guardian story before on the channel, and it's been a while since I've talked about it again, but I'm going to be bringing it back up in this video because this character is kind of an important character in that story. Getting into his transformation, because out of all my characters, he's one of the few that still transforms. And basically first what you want to do is pull down all the branches like this and kind of just spread them out. And then you kind of click the legs out like this to kind of spread them out. On the top you want to fold out these horns, kind of get them positioned a certain way. And then the final step, you basically just spin him around to reveal his hideous face. Like this. And my goodness, what a unique design. His design was kind of inspired off this sticker right here that's on the face right here. This came from a Scooby-Doo Lego set where like the tree was like a monster, but it was like a robot piloted machine that looked like a scary monster tree. So I decided to use it here, and since I also had the sticker from the Whomping Willow, it almost matched perfectly. So yeah, on the front is his face, and then the back is a bit of the Whomping Willow. Ever since my original video, I actually haven't touched him, which is why he's like so dusty. But basically his aesthetic is supposed to be like an old rotting tree that, like, as you can see on the top, like has been like broken or chopped down before. So he's basically just like a remaining stump of what used to be like a larger tree. And that's kind of where his name Stumper comes from. One thing that I kind of designed into his uh, build was that he has like the piece that kind of holds his upper body on is like one of those Lego turntables pieces. So it's got like this little give. So like as he's walking around, he's got like this wobble to him, and also like when you spin him around, he's got like a lot of wobble and wiggle to him. So like it gives him a lot of life when you're messing around with him. Kind of one of his main features is that he's got the 4 arms instead of just having 2. He's got 4. You could very easily design a tree character to just have 2 branch arms, but I feel like it's just cooler to have 4 branch arms because trees can just basically have unlimited amount of branches. Speaking of his tree arms, in all of his arms or in all of his hands, there's like this like random accessory weapons hidden. Like here's like some sort of like gun type thing that really doesn't make sense for a tree to have. And then his 2 back arms, this one has an axe, and then this one has a broom for some reason. I think I really only included those 2 back ones as like just because they were brown. I was like, okay, I need to fill them out. What could I use? These things. There we go. One thing that I do kind of want to change is like his upper head, because as you can see, the way his horns kind of connect up here like this. They kind of stick out very far, giving like him like this really weird like wide head shape that just looks really weird. So if I were to redesign him, I would connect like the kind of horns to the more inside to make it more of like just a skinny tall tree or something. So actually in the original video I made on this guy, I'd actually made like a cell animation kind of. It was more so I just drew on paper and then made a stop motion with the paper. And it's very rough around the edges, but I do just want to show it off again because I feel like that's just kind of faded into obscurity. So here it is. I don't remember anything about when I made that. Matter of fact, the entirety of the video talking about Stumper is kind of just a blur in my mind. I can't remember any of it. I don't remember when, where, or how, or why I made that cell animation, but it exists and it is on the internet, and it's pretty cool, so I wanted to show it off again. So I had mentioned that I never really gave this guy a story, but dusting off these 2 characters, Pickup and Hitchhiker, these 2 characters are like involved in his story. Basically, the story is like Stumper used to beat up Pickup when he was younger, and like eventually they got into a fight or something that caused him to like lose or something. And I will go into more detail about it, but like it's basically that like these characters have a lot of history, and like so he's kind of got like a grudge against them and stuff. I don't want to give too much away because I do want to like actually explain it properly in some story or something. Besides that, there's not really too much to his character. Like I said, I am trying to keep his story vague because I do want to do like a proper video talking about his story and like make like a video, like a scripted video or something. And besides that, there's not really too much to his backstory besides like the whole having a grudge against Pickup and Hitchhiker. But it does not just end there. It does not just end with him having a grudge against Pickup and Hitchhiker. Because after the long while after I made the video talking about him, I'd actually expanded his story a little bit. It doesn't just end with him being angry at Pickup and Hitchhiker. It actually goes beyond that and he becomes a greater threat. This right here is Petrified Stumper. This is a variation of him that he turns into later on. When the reboot is done, this will be the first video I do talking about him. Because this guy has a lot of story. And you might ask yourself, how the heck are these 2 the same character? Well, you're just going to have to wait until the reboot. So I suggest you subscribe and stay tuned. And until then, bye-bye.